There's a pattern that comes up again and again in relationships where one or both partners have ADHD, a reactive loop of misunderstanding, shame, and repeated attempts to fix behavior that never address the underlying wiring. If that pattern rings true for you, the missed text that becomes a fight, the late arrival that lands as betrayal, the forgotten chore that becomes evidence of not caring, this first half is the map. We'll describe the mechanics, why ADHD changes communication dynamics, how emotional reactivity and executive friction show up in partnerships, and the first conversation moves to shift the dynamic from blame to design. Why communication feels different with ADHD. Start with 2 facts that change everything. Fact 1, ADHD affects attention, memory, and impulse control. That means what looks like inattentiveness, not replying to a text, unpredictability, running late, or impulsivity, saying something sharp, is often the symptom expression of an attention system that prioritizes novelty and immediate salience. That's not an excuse. It's an explanation that reframes conflict from a moral story to a system story. Fact 2. Emotional reactivity and rejection sensitivity are common. Many people with ADHD experience stronger emotional reactions, quicker escalation, and slower return to baseline. That means a small critique can be experienced as a threat, and the defensive response looks bigger than the original cause. Recognizing this pattern is the first step to changing the relational script. When you put those facts together, you see why typical communication advice, just be more considerate, or try harder, rarely works. It demands a cognitive strength the ADHD brain may not sustainably deliver in stressful moments. The relational challenge becomes how to design communications that work for both brains in real time, not later in therapy rooms. The reactive loop, how fights start and why they keep returning. Here's a familiar loop. Trigger, a missed call, a late arrival, an unintended comment. Meaning making. The partner interprets it as disrespect or not caring. Emotional surge. Shame, anger, or hurt from either or both partners. Reactive behavior. Snapping, withdrawing, or lecturing. Misrepair. Apology without structural change. Both feel partly understood but still vulnerable. Repeat. This loop is not evidence that one person is bad. It's evidence the system, habits, boundaries, info flow is broken. Repairing it requires both immediate communication tactics to stop escalation and durable structural changes to prevent recurrence. Begin differently. Rules for initial conversations. When you start the work of explaining ADHD and redesigning communication, adopt 5 relational rules. Rule 1, begin with curiosity, not accusation. Frame the conversation as exploration. I want to understand how your experience is different so we can reduce fights. Curiosity lowers threat and increases learning. Rule 2, normalize and explain the wiring. Use simple language. My brain prioritizes things differently. I notice novelty and deadlines differently. I can get stuck in switches. And sometimes I miss things. This is neutral information, not a defense. Rule 3, use I statements and behavior-specific language. I felt hurt when the messages went unread for 2 days is better than you never answer me. Keep it concrete and recent. Rule 4, map impact, not intent. Both partners benefit from clarity about consequences. When X happens, I feel Y, and the result is Z. This separates internal meaning from the external behavior. Rule 5, create immediate safety moves. Before deep discussion, agree on a few short de-escalation signals. A hand gesture, the phrase pause and breathe, or a 20-minute cooling off request. These tools reduce escalation and protect relationship trust. How to explain ADHD to a partner without making excuses. Explaining ADHD is an active translation. You're translating internal mechanics into external behaviors and then into practical requests. A short format works best. Start with the one-line explanation. ADHD affects attention, organization, and impulse control. It's a neurological difference, not a choice. Give 2 concrete examples from your life. I sometimes miss texts because I get hyper-focused or distracted by other sensory things. I can say the wrong thing when I'm overwhelmed. Describe your emotional experience. When I get called out, I feel small and defensive quickly. It's often RSD, rejection-sensitive dysphoria, where my brain amplifies rejection. End with a short request. When that happens, I'd appreciate a 20-minute pause and a clear sentence about what you need. This structure moves the conversation from blame to clarity. You're translating behavior to need. Boundaries versus blame. How to separate them. Boundaries are not punishments. They are signals that protect needs. Teaching a partner a boundary might sound like, I need you not to interpret my lateness as malice. If you're hurt, say, I feel hurt, and ask for a time to chat later. A boundary could be, if I'm running late, text me once at the planned time, and if I don't respond within 20 minutes, assume I'm okay. Boundaries should be negotiated. They protect dignity and reduce reactivity. Practical first talk script to use tonight. Here's a script you can use that follows the rules above. Open. Can we talk for 10 minutes? I want to share something that will help us avoid fights. Explain. I have ADHD. That means sometimes I miss messages or get stuck. It's not about caring less. Impact. When you say X, I feel Y. I know that's hard for you too. Request? Can we try this? If I'm late or non-responsive, send one text and then wait 20 minutes before checking in. And if you're hurt, say I'm hurt without assigning blame and ask to talk later. Check in. Does that feel fair? What would help you feel safe? Use this as a starting move, not a single cure. The aim is to create immediate safety and a shared plan. Setting expectations about change. An honest expectation setter helps avoid the common rebound effect of you promised and now didn't. Say, I'm working on this. I will improve, but I also need reminders, systems, and your patience while I get there. Schedule a brief check-in weekly for a month to celebrate wins and tweak agreements. Communication tools, boundaries, and repair strategies that reduce conflict. This second half is the toolbox. Explicit communication scripts, boundary templates, repair strategies after fights, and routines that reduce friction before it becomes drama. These are practical, tested, and designed to be gender and life role friendly for women balancing work, parenting, and relationships. Tool 1, the one thing request. Clear, specific ask. In moments of mismatch, people often say, I need more support, or be more present. Those fuzzy asks lead to fuzzy change. Convert needs into one thing requests. Identify the single behavior that would ease the pain. Make it concrete, time-bound, and testable. Examples. When I'm late, please text, I'm checking in, you're okay? Then wait 20 minutes. If I get terse, please say, take 2 minutes and then we'll talk. If you see dishes piling up, ask, do you want me to handle one surface? Not, why are you messy? One thing requests remove interpretive work and create predictable responses that reduce escalation. Tool 2, the pause protocol, de-escalation ritual. High emotional arousal is the enemy of productive talk. The pause protocol is a short practice tool that becomes a habit. One person says, pause. Both parties move to a 20-minute break. No problem solving. Use the break to do the recentering phase, breathing, grounding, or a short walk. Return to the conversation with one sentence about what you need. Use a 3-minute limit for surface repair. Longer discussions can be scheduled. This protocol acknowledges that emotions are real and time-limited, and it protects repair capacity. Tool 3, the bridge language for ADHD moments. When ADHD behaviors trigger a partner, use bridge phrases to describe state, not intent. State language. I'm scattered right now. I'll set a reminder to handle this. Process language. I need a clear request and a deadline for this task. Repair language. I'm sorry I missed that. Can I fix it by doing X now? This language keeps the conversation pragmatic and leaves room for repair. Tool 4, boundary templates. Negotiable and reusable. Boundaries work best when they are short, explicit, and renegotiable. Example boundary template for communication. Boundary. If I don't respond within 30 minutes, assume I'm okay. When hurt, if you're upset, say, I'm hurt, and we'll schedule a 20-minute talk. Escalation plan. If we can't resolve this in 2 tries, we pause and use a mediator or a therapist. Create 2 or 3 templates for recurring conflict areas. Time management, chores, parenting logistics, in-law issues. Write them down and keep them somewhere visible. Shared note, fridge. When to invite a neutral third party. If fights repeat despite your tools and both of you are earnest, consider a coach or couples therapist with ADHD experience. A skilled third party helps translate needs, interrupt entrenched patterns, and create durable agreements. Choose a practitioner who understands ADHD dynamics and RSD to avoid pathologizing emotional responses. From conflict cycles to co-design. Relationships with ADHD can be deeply loving and creative, but they require design. The difference between repeated fights and sustainable connection is not moral superiority. It's intentional structure. Clear language, negotiated boundaries, tiny requests, and shared systems. Start with curiosity. Practice the scripts and pause protocols. Make one-thing requests, and agree to small experimental changes. Over time, predictable patterns replace pain, and your partnership becomes a designed habitat for both of your brains. If this helped, subscribe and comment. If you struggle with focus, brain fog, or overwhelm, try Focus Femme. It's my go-to women's focus supplement. Link is in the description.